Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bitwig Studio and Music Production. This is lesson 5.99, and in this lesson we're going to be talking about the note pitch shifter. Just as a reminder, we're working inside of the beta version of Bitwig Studio, but I'm assuming most of this stuff will work the same come version 1.1. So the reason I'm skipping over the note filter is because we've already talked about that a lot in previous lessons. So if you're a little confused about how this works and you want some creative applications for it, just go back a few videos and you'll be able to find them. So the note pitch shifter, in theory, it should be very, very powerful. Right now in practice, it's not incredibly powerful. Obviously, it kind of does what you'd expect. But one cool feature is this fine-tune control, and this will only work with Bitwig instruments. But what it does is super cool, so I'll show you that as I pull this up. We can hear it. We're hearing our instrument is out of tune, and with analog style instruments and synthesizers, sometimes it's cool to pull that out a little bit more than you normally would. But let's see what happens here if I just record something in. All right, so we have that like so, and we can take a look at the original, where I was playing C's and then going up and coming back down. And you can tell if you have this little piano roll editor which shows micro pitch expressions, we can see that this is hitting exactly at the 1. Okay? Now if we look at instrument 2, we can see that this has been put out of pitch to 1.37 in addition to changing the actual notes being played as they come in and out. And that's really what this does. And the strength of this is when you're working and you're layering various instruments on top of each other, if you want to pull things down by an octave or up by an octave or up by a fifth or down by a fifth, you can do it without having to tinker with what's actually going on in the instrument itself. And with some VST instruments, it can be a little bit more confusing than others. So it's just a quick way if you want something like that. The one thing that I wish we could do with this that unfortunately we can't do is create our own random melodies by using an LFO. So in theory, what we could do is drop like an LFO on here, put the pitch shifter in, add an arpeggiator after the fact, set it to eighth notes. But right off the bat, you can hear that the LFO mod isn't doing anything to this note pitch shifter. So unfortunately, as of right now, they don't have these working together. But in theory, what we could do is go to time and beat, set this to eighth notes, pull this down to sample and hold. All right, I'll pull the fine tune back. I'll actually just set this to its default. And then, in theory, what I could do is route this to the semitones, and we'll put it up by an octave. And what should happen then is as I'm playing back, this should be jumping all over that range with each eighth note, which would correspond then to an arpeggiator. So as we played through this, we should get random notes, but unfortunately we don't. At least as of right now. And then what would make this really crazy and fun is we could actually put on the diatonic transposer after that to then snap anything into our key if that's what we want to do. And in that situation, I probably would use the constrain mode. I'd go to like maybe C minor, put in constrain, and then as we're going through, we're going to get all sorts of cool melodies and different patterns working, and then we could go into the arpeggiator and adjust velocities and gates further. It's a great way to actually come up with some cool patterns, and then we'd create a new instrument track and record that. Sadly, that doesn't seem to be working as of right now, but hopefully that's something they consider adding in the future, because that's like random composition at its finest right there. All the tools are here, just the application right now isn't working. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and you'll hear from me again in the next lesson. Take care.